This is the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, sponsored by R.C. Willey and Levitt Law Firm.
Good evening. Welcome inside the RebZone. Kevin Bollinger alongside UNLV head football coach Tony Sanchez, coming off a huge win against San Jose State yesterday afternoon. That had to just be one of the highlights of the year, just seeing all three phases come together.
It really was. I was really happy for the boys. You know, we've told them week in and week out, just keep fighting, keep working hard, keep showing up and doing the right things. Good things will happen. And we've had our opportunities, as of late, with the San Diego State game and the Hawaii game, and to see it finally come together was a big deal for the guys. So really happy for them.
Well, let's get to the highlights of this one. We begin with the first half, where the Rebels got the Sam Boyd farewell off to a solid start.
Lots of festivities for the final UNLV game at Sam Boyd Stadium. Alumni from the Rebels teams from every decade were there, including Randall Cunningham and Kenny Mayne. Once the game started, UNLV made the early statement that they were there to take charge. San Jose had the ball first. Josh Love back to pass, and it's almost picked off. That a precursor of what was to come. The Spartans would miss a 43-yard field goal wide right, and the Rebels offense went to work. On the first play from scrimmage, Charles Williams up the middle, and he cuts to the outside and rolls 51 yards all the way down to the San Jose 23. Williams capped off the drive by scampering in from 12 yards out, and UNLV had themselves a 7-0 lead less than 5 minutes in. The Spartans came right back on their next possession and drove 75 yards, capped by this 1-yard run by DeJean Parker. The point after was no good, and the Rebels led 7-6. After UNLV punted, San Jose State had possession, but not for long. Love has his pass deflected, and it's picked off by Jalen Graves, who rumbles 7 more yards down to the 30. Second and goal at the 7. Kenyon Oblad to the back of the end zone, where tight end Shelton Zion is wide open for the touchdown. The Rebel lead was up to 14-6. On San Jose's next possession, Love has his pass batted in the air, and it's intercepted by Javen White, and UNLV took over at their own 39. 3rd and 2, Oblad scrambles. He gets the first down to keep the drive alive. Then QB1 drops back, and he's got Randall Grimes, who bobbles and hangs on for the score. The Rebels were rolling, and Sam Boyd was rocking, as it was 21-6 UNLV. A rattle Love came out again, and once again he gets picked. This time it's Jericho Flowers who does the deed. 3 first-half interceptions for the defense, solid drives by the offense. It all had UNLV going into the locker room with a 21-6 lead at halftime.
All right, before we get to the game, it was senior day, 19 seniors honored. This is a very special group to you.
It is. I mean, obviously, the 5 years bringing these guys, especially the redshirt guys, and everything the program's gone through in these 5 years. Those kids have changed the program forever. They've created the best academic environment we've ever seen, highest GPAs and APRs and all that stuff. They've won more games, in these last 5 years than we did the previous 5 and 5 before that. They've won more cannons than they'd won in the previous 10 years. And really, the Fertitta Football Complex, that entire inception and the development of it and the fundraising was those guys going out, standing in front of people, just showing what great character kids they are, and they've really changed the program forever.
When it got to the game itself, turnovers were the key. 3 interceptions for the Rebels. The defense was swarming everywhere.
They were. They played really good ball down the stretch. We give up a bunch of yards, but, man, they've made some really critical plays that really allowed us to win that game. But that was huge. They were plus 13 in turnovers going into the game. They were really stingy, not throwing picks all year. I think they'd thrown 3. I think Love had 3 interceptions. And, being able to turn the ball over and then the offense converting them into scores was huge.
On the offensive side of the ball, we knew that the run game was going to be very important to the outcome because San Jose's soft spot is their rush defense. Charles Williams was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he runs so hard. He works so hard, and he passed the 1,000-yard mark. And that's a big deal for him. But for a team, for us to be able to, he had 180 some odd yards rushing. I think Chad added another 40. But to get over that 200 mark gives you a real opportunity to control the game and control the clock.
Well, let's go to the second half right now, where it was back and forth, and it came down to the final seconds.
After UNLV's opening drive of the second half stalled, San Jose got the ball at their own 20. From the 35, Love hits DeJean Parker, who gets loose, and he goes 65 yards for the touchdown. The 2-point conversion was good, and the Rebel lead was cut to 21-14. UNLV answered. First play of the drive, Oblad to Grimes, who reaches up to grab it for the 29-yard gain in the San Jose territory. They would end up settling for a 45-yard Daniel Gutierrez field goal, and it was 24-14. UNLV got the ball back. Oblad to Jacob Gasser, but Trey Webb rips it away for the interception. 3 plays later, Love rolls right, and he throws the backwards pass to Jackson Schneider, who barrels into the end zone for the touchdown. It was back to 3 at 24-21. The Rebels with 3 and out, and San Jose took advantage on the first play after the punt. Love to Bailey Gaither, who gets rocked, and then the ball deflects right to Brett Foley for the score. We headed to the fourth quarter with San Jose on top, 28-24. The Spartans get the ball back, but on first down, Packer runs it to midfield. Evan Ostry strips the ball loose, and Jericho Flowers recovers for the Rebs. It was 4th and 5 for UNLV at the 33. Oblad connects with Makai Stevenson for 9 to move the chains. 2 plays later, Oblad hit as he threw, and he had to head to the sideline because the ref thought that he was injured and held up play. Enter Armani Rogers, who hands it off to Williams, who rattles off 17 yards down to the 4. Next play, Ground Chuck finishes the drive, pounded it in for the touchdown. UNLV was back on top, 31-28. Back comes San Jose. From the 25, Love to Trey Walker, who makes a great grab in the end zone, and the seesaw tilted back in the Spartans' favor, 35-31 with 6:17 left. After both teams exchanged punts, UNLV had the ball at their own 30, down 4 with 2:49 to go. The offense methodically worked the ball down the field and then went big. Oblad to Grimes, who does a terrific job of pointing in at the 7. Williams caps off the drive with his 3rd score of the game. UNLV had a 38-35 lead with 1:15 left. On San Jose's first play of their drive, Love downfield to Isaiah Hamilton, who hauls it in, and a missed tackle allows him to go 80 yards to the Rebel 12. It was 3rd and goal at the 5 with 12 seconds left. Love's pass is deflected, and Kolo Waske comes up with the play of the year. The pick in the red zone seals the deal. UNLV wins at 38-35, and what better way to close out Sam Boyd Stadium than a serenade of the fight song.
Every day we go out there and practice, we're like, 1 play away, 2 plays away, 3 plays away. How about we just, execute those plays and go out there and win? That's all we wanted to do.
You got to stay mellow. You got to stay consistent. You just got to be a straight line throughout the whole game because it's going to be ups and downs, but whoever stays a straight line is going to be the winner. And I feel like the defense did a great job at the end of the game being that straight line. And, you see we went up and down, we went here and there, but I think the biggest thing is just give a chance to fight. And I feel like we did that, and Kolo made that great play, and now we're sitting here victorious in the Pep round.
All right, let's begin at the end. The pick by Kolo, as big of a play as we've seen all season long.
Well, we needed something good to happen. We've been in these situations a bunch this year, having chances down the stretch at the end, and for us to come up with that play, that was huge. So it was fitting, too, defensive play at the end to win the game.
Not to be overlooked was the last drive by the offense. They had to go 70 yards, down 4, 2:49 to go. It was just a very controlled drive to get it to midfield, and then the big play to Grimes kind of set you guys up to get in the end zone.
Yeah, you're trying to, you want to score, and that's the most important thing. You'd love to be able to bleed the clock a little bit, and we did that, and you scored, and there's, I think, 1:15 or something, and you're feeling pretty good about it, but I'll tell you what, it got scary at the end, so it was a good win.
We saw the celebration afterwards with the players on the field, and I'm sure that you had the game going on, but there was all the celebration going on before and during the game with the Sam Boyd final game. There was just something magical, I guess, out there yesterday. It was important for this program's future to kind of end this on a good note where there have been a lot of down days. and kind of just show the progress moving forward.
There's no doubt about it. Let's face it, UNLV's been on hard times for a long, long time, right? And, again, as you're building a program, you got to be tough enough to stay the course, tough enough to deal with those hard times to move it forward. And it was fitting that the night before they were in the Fertitta football complex with all the ex-players, and they had a little gathering there to, kind of, again, glimpse into the future, and then coming back to Sam Boyd to close it out, one last final chapter, and getting that big win. I mean, I heard from so many of the alumni, and, people were there, and it was a real special day. And, now we got, got the Cannon to go fight forward, then moving forward, I mean, we got an unbelievable future ahead of us.
Yeah, big win, one big one to go. We're just getting started in the Red Zone. Up next, all the focus now turning to the Cannon. We're getting you ready for Saturday's game between UNLV and UNR. What to watch for in 2 minutes as the Red Zone rolls on.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, sponsored by R.C. Willey and Levitt Law Firm.
This Saturday at high noon in Reno, it's the battle for the Fremont Cannon, the biggest game in the state, and the Wolfpack come into this game with bowl eligibility in their pocket and a chip on their shoulder.
It's the game that both schools always have circled on the schedule.
We circle that game for a reason.
The classic North versus South rivalry. Little city versus big city. Blue versus red. The battle for the Fremont Cannon always gets the energy from the players, the coaches, and of course the fan bases. Last year at Sam Boyd, UNLV rallied from a 23-0 deficit and won 34-29 in the largest comeback in UNLV program history. Afterwards, there was celebrating on the field, and the days that followed, the red paint was busted out to put a fresh coat on the Cannon. It's something that the UNR players have etched in their brain. And even when we talked to them in July, it was at the top of their mind.
I know the fan base is very upset, and we are just hungry to get it back.
So what do the Wolfpack have coming into this game? UNR has already become bowl eligible. They've won a lot of close games this season, some on the final play of the game. Their scoring offense is last in the conference. Quarterback Carson Strong has improved as the season has moved along, but he did lose a favorite target when wide receiver Caleb Fossum had a season-ending injury earlier this month at San Diego State. Defensively, UNR is giving up about 32 points at 400 yards a game. That's middle of the pack in the Mountain West. But you could throw stats and tendencies out the window in a rivalry game. This is where everything is on the table, with not only bragging rights at stake, but ownership of the Fremont Cannon. Will it be red or will it be blue? We'll find out on Saturday afternoon.
All right, so you look at this Wolfpack team, and nothing really stands out as saying they excel in one certain area, but they find a way to win games this season. What's your biggest concern coming into this?
Yeah, they do. They're scrappy. I mean, they've had so many really tight, close games, and they find a way to win at the end. So I think the biggest thing is, kind of the normal stuff. You got to win the turnover battle. We got to keep improving on third downs. I think that's a big thing. And I think if you do those two things, you have a great shot to win the game. Can we find a way to run the football against them? I mean, if we can run the football to open up the passing game, again, helps us control the clock a little bit, and then our defense is going to have to be stout like they've been.
Last year you had the big comeback. Yeah. Obviously, you can't dig yourself a big hole on the road this year coming in. This one's going to have to kind of be straight up throughout.
Absolutely. I mean, you never want to have to talk about having the greatest comeback ever. I'd rather not have those comebacks, just win it outright, But it's a big deal. I mean, again, I remember when I first got the job, one of the things they said is, hey, we got to get back in this series. We'd won the Cannon one time in 10 years, and they were just dominating. And now our seniors have a chance to win it 3 times in 5, which is huge. It completely flips the script again. So it's a big deal, And again, having the season that we've had this year, there's been some disappointments, some setbacks, to finish, winning the last 2 games of the season, to get the Cannon back. I mean, it sends the seniors off the right way and sets the young guys up for the future.
And we saw yesterday that this team has a lot of fight left in them. I mean, they came out and went straight at it right from the beginning. And afterwards, they were already talking about this game. I mean, they're motivated. They want to end this thing on the right note this season, and they want that cannon back here red.
There's no doubt about it. And that's the one thing I think if you pay attention and you watch Rebel football, I mean, there's some frustrations, but there's no quitting the guys. I mean, they have not thrown the towel in. They never will. They're a great group of kids, and they know how important this cannon is. I mean, we've talked about it long and hard, and, there's been some shenanigans, on the other side, more so than ours, these last couple of years. So there's some things that we'll definitely bring up in our meeting today to talk about that game.
All right, it's going to be fun. We're going to step away from football for a moment. Up next, we're going to talk a little bit of hoops, a recap of the week for the Runnin Rebels. 3 games at home, all with a Texas twist. Highlights and post-game reaction on the backside of the break.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, sponsored by R.C. Willey and Levitt Law Firm.
The Runnin Rebels hosted 3 games this week, all against schools from Texas, with the biggest one being Saturday when SMU came to town.
The Runnin Rebels welcoming in unbeaten SMU on Saturday night, and Amari Hardy got into quick foul trouble, picking up 2 in less than 4 minutes. Donnie Tillman tried to pick up the slack, hitting a couple of threes, but SMU was tough. Farron Hunt put on a dunk show, throwing it down on his own, on the alley-oop, and off the offensive rebound. The Mustangs led 38-28 at the half. UNLV climbed in it early in the second using the 3-ball. Tillman first, and then Elijah Mitro long as they got within striking distance. SMU seemed to answer every run. Kendrick Davis with this incredible shot against great defense. They kept UNLV at arm's length. Hardy, though, would hit a 3 to make it a 1-possession game, but Davis came right back and buried one of his own. UNLV was down 2 with 4 minutes to go, and they had possession but missed on several opportunities. SMU came back with a 3 by Isaiah Mike, and then on the next trip down, Mike got the bucket and the foul. UNLV did make it close late, but SMU hung on for the 72-68 win.
We're done with moral victories. Our guys played hard. We didn't play winning basketball when it came time to win. That's on me. We're going to get it right. I don't care if I don't sleep in the process. That's not good enough, and it's going to get better here fast.
A Wednesday night midweek matchup as UNLV hosted Texas State. Donnie Tillman scored the Rebels' first 7 points from outside and inside. The guards then got on the action as Amari Hardy drains a corner 3. Then the next trip down the floor, Elijah Mitro long hits from the other corner. But Alonzo Sule got this late inside bucket, and it was tied at 28 at the half. The second half started promising for the Rebels. Hardy with the alley-oop to Jong. Then Bryce Hamilton penetrates and dishes to Jong for the slam. At that point, UNLV led 44-43 with 9:43 left. The Rebels went cold and only scored 13 points after that as Texas State ran away. Mason Harrell with the dagger 3 late. UNLV shoots 34% from the field, and they lose 64-57.
As the game wore on, whether it was fouls or other things that happened, it slipped away, and we always came back. It seemed like we were on our heels on both sides of the court. For us to win, we know we've got to be the grittier, tougher, stingy team defensively and finish plays on the glass. We weren't able to do that and allowed them to come away with the victory tonight.
The Runnin Rebels returned home Monday after a week on the road. Abilene Christian was in the Thomas & Mack, and as we've often seen this year, Amari Hardy was hot early. Hardy hit 3 triples in the first 8.5 minutes to give UNLV the lead out of the gate. Then in transition, Hardy finds Mbake Jong, and he throws it down. Moments later, it's Jong again. The offensive rebound, the putback, and the pat. The 3-point play extends the lead to double digits. Late in the half, Hardy with the sweet spin move to get it to the hole for the lay-in. He had 14 first-half points as UNLV led 38-28 at the break. Donnie Tillman got the second half started with the quick first step to the hole for the bucket and the bump, but Abilene Christian fought back. Off the Rebel turnover, Mekhi Morris takes it the other way for the lay-in. A 14-2 run capped by this Peyton Ricks 3 tied it up at 50 with 10 minutes left. UNLV outscored the Wildcats 22-8 the rest of the way. Off the turnover, Elijah Mitru Long runs and fakes the pass before laying it in. Then Hardy works his man. He gets the and one. The Rebels pull away down the stretch and win it 72-58.
We've been in those positions where in the past where, the games have been tied up, and as soon as I just thought to myself, it's not about to be another game like that. I don't like playing those type of games, and we need to learn from those games, and I think we did that by showing it tonight.
The Runnin Rebels host Jackson State Tuesday night before traveling to Cincinnati on Saturday. We're going to take one final time out. Some closing thoughts from Coach Sanchez are ahead, and the UNLV football plays of the week. As we go to break, here's a look at how other Mountain West football teams did over the weekend.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, sponsored by R.C. Willey and Levitt Law Firm.
All right, a chance to win the Cannon for the third time in 5 years. More importantly, keep it red and get a nice spot for it in that Fertitta football complex where it can sit for another year.
No doubt. It'd be nice to get that thing back to back. We're excited about it. Again, it's a great way to put a better taste in our mouth, coming out of this season. So we're excited about it, and we're going to go back to work.
How do you approach the week real quick in terms of making sure that the guys are hyped for this game, but not a little bit overhyped?
Yeah, you got to gradually get them to it. We'll talk about that, managing the emotions, tonight when we have our team meeting. And then throughout the course of the week, you're kind of going to tell some stories about it just to get those guys amped up. But you don't want them too crazy, you know what I'm saying? You need to get them settled down. So we'll make sure we do that. And then you got Thanksgiving, and now with the new Fertitta football complex, we're actually going to have a Thanksgiving feast right after practice on Thursday, and something new that we can do.
All right, Coach, happy Thanksgiving. Good luck on Saturday. We'll see you in Reno. We hope to see you next Sunday in the Red Zone. Thanks for joining us for this one. We leave you tonight with the UNLV football plays of the week. Good night.
The RebZone Sports Show, sponsored by R.C. Willey and Levitt Law Firm.